Welcome to another episode of An Inside Job. War on addiction, because that's what it is, the war on addiction. We're dying at 91 a day. 91 people are dying from heroin and all the other stuff. This is episode number 28, so I'll do this real quick. Thank LTV for just backing us all the way. I can't say enough. And I didn't say, I'm your host, Ron. And I always quote one of the greatest men to me and the most illuminating of this epidemic. Dr. Gabor Mate, his book, Realm of the Hungry Ghost, he explains addiction as biological, chemical, neurological, physiological, medical, social, emotional, political, economical, and spiritual. There's just so much to do with this, with why, but we as a society, we don't even have the questions. And for sure, we don't have the solution. We're one little piece of this thing, but we're working hard. Okay, I'm really excited today. Introduce Kenny and Amanda. Kenny was on, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, maybe a month. All the people that are going to be on today, they're all poets, not all in recovery, but what, Kenny? But not in recovery, but
yeah.
What?
So we're the Compassionate Poets, Ron. So I'm the only addict in the group, but we all touch upon different things that we go through in just a different way. And really what I wanted to show when coming up with the group was that we are not unique, so that there's other outlets to voice our frustrations or our insecurities. And what I've realized is, like, the more honest I am with my writing, the more I connect with people. And so I thought that it would be a great idea to get us all together, and we started doing a commitment at MIR, which is...
Explain a commitment.
Commitment is, typically it is 3 or 4 people in recovery that go into a program and share their experience, strength, and hope. It's not like a regular meeting.
Right.
It's more of like people telling their stories and what they're doing to
Right.
stay clean. But I thought this was different. I thought through my poetry and through our poetry, we can show them that they can outlet their frustrations.
Right.
And it really clings on the hope aspect of the commitment portion. And I got some, it wasn't easy in the beginning to tell people, like when I would tell them my idea, hey, we're gonna do poetry instead of a commitment, and they're like, I don't know how that's gonna be. And MIR, thank you so very much to CHL's MIR, the Motivating Youth program. MIR, Motivating Youth Recovery, excuse me, that they gave us the outlet to go and speak. It's basically a detox for children for under 18. And they gave us the outlet to go there, and we went there, and it was something special to see the way that people connected to it. Connected to like the poets that are amongst us, and it was something that I can't describe to you in words. I just know that it's different, and it attracts people, and so I knew that this is something that I wanted to keep pushing for and keep expanding and try and make bigger.
Nice. Like I said, I'm excited. And Amanda.
Yes.
You all have been doing this for a while. Stop looking at her. She's like Jackie, your girlfriend.
Yeah.
You're beautiful.
Thank you very much.
But you know it. You've been doing this for a while. You're a radio announcer. Is that what it'd be? Or
So initially, I met Kenny through this organization that I'm a part of called Hope Inc. It stands for Hop on Proper Education. It's comprised of 10 people, and we're everlasting growing. And we do an open mic every first Wednesday of the month at Dudley Cafe in Roxbury.
Oh, wow.
Kenny had came through, and it was his first time, I believe, ever performing his poetry out loud. And we were just enamored by him. He was amazing, really good energy, and very vulnerable in his piece. So it became like an instant connection. We actually didn't meet in person initially. We met through social media, and I was inviting him out to the event, and I'm so happy that he came because it's been just really good chemistry, and we connected almost immediately. And after he performed, he came back again the following month and performed one of my favorite pieces, Pain Street.
Me too.
Amazing poem. Really painted a really vivid picture of, what it's like to go through emotions and pain and feel as though you are trapped in a sense. And it really spoke to me because even though I am not a recovering addict, I have had to deal with addiction in my family since I was a child. So dealing with that with my parents and my ex-husband, me and Kenny just connected through that. And he actually started, inspiring me to write more about addiction from a different perspective as somebody who's watching somebody deteriorate from the epidemic.
Yeah, maybe you can come on again and explain that. Ashley said she would. We haven't had anybody on the show, and I've been trying to get people on to do what you just said, to explain from the inside what it's like for you with that, from the inside. It's the name of this show, An Inside Job. It's inside. So this is going to be real loose because we have a lot of people. How many?
7.
7. Okay.
And we all met through spoken word poetry, every single one of us.
What?
Through spoken word poetry, we all met. So it's been beautiful to be able to work together as a group and be able to perform at commitments and do this kind of work. It's very fulfilling for all of us internally, and as well as the audience who are getting to hear it. It is very hard to talk about a subject like this. It's very personal.
Yes. But for the people that can do it, one can spill their guts on the table, which some of our shows have been so powerful. It's so helpful to us. And mainstream society, there's a lot of people there's just a lot of people out there. So what do we want to do? We want to introduce the first poet?
Yeah, I think we should. Our first poet is Curtis. Curtis is someone that I met the first time I went to the Hope Inc. Open mic, and his energy was just he was the first person after I was shaking. I was so scared. Wow. And he came up to me, he's like, "Yo, you're incredible." He gave me a hug, and I felt okay, I need this energy around me. And
it's a good energy too. I don't know, it just filled this place, and I mean that.
Thank you.
And in seeing him, he's also new to writing, to writing and performing his poetry, but watching him grow in his craft has been amazing, because in the beginning you see him finding his voice, and now you've seen him as he's continuously progressing to grow his voice, and hey, I'm here now. And he was really quiet in the beginning, but he's no longer quiet. So I think that's a great segue. Do you have anything to add about Curtis?
He's a great comedian.
He's a great comedian?
Their jokes in our group chats
Oh,
are
really?
hilarious. Yeah, he's definitely one of the funny guys in our group for sure.
Okay, so we're introducing
Curtis.
Curtis, take it away.
I've bitten my tongue a couple of times to get here, swallowed my pride as well as ate some of my own words. I've broken myself in order to grow properly. Do you have any idea how hard it is to be a flower to have to break your own stem? to watch your own petal fall around you, to watch yourself die just to figure out how to live again. My hands have never bled this much. My knees have never bruised like this. My heart has never felt so heavy. I spent time trying to condition myself for harsher weather. I couldn't help but think, there's beauty in calamity. As the earth begins to shadow underneath the rivers within my mind, I began to see beauty within the waterfalls. Clarity. That's what I saw within everything as everything was being destroyed. A phoenix is born from ashes, so why can't a man that has been through hell do the same? These scars that I've been given has given birth to beauty for this canvas. Each mark a stroke of genius, each imperfection perfectly placed with precision. I am a beautiful disaster. I know now as each petal begins to grow anew, for I feel it now as my roots begin to seep deep within the earth. I am truly reborn. Thank you.
You guys do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the old days, the old beatniks, that's what they did.
Yes,
You knew that?
I did know that.
Oh, we're back. Okay, want to do the next one?
Yeah. So our next person performing is Chosen with a period at the end. The way I met her was so the group basically we started off going to it was an elementary school, high school in Boston.
Yes.
The Mary E. Lyons, and they had asked a friend of Amanda's, Dana Roberts, correct?
Yes.
Had asked us to perform, and we went there and we performed, and every poet that went up there, it was just like amazing. And I actually performed "You Don't Look Like an Addict" there, and a teacher
Yeah.
came up to me after. He goes, "I don't look like one either, right?" And I was floored because I got caught up in the
Yeah.
whole, and like Chosen went up there and she did this poem where I was just like, I'm gonna have to step my game up. She's that good. Amanda?
Chosen, we had met at, I believe, Dudley Cafe once again. She had performed. She's a really great spoken word poet. She's also a singer. She's a blogger. She's actually a published author as well.
Wow.
The name of her book, I'm probably gonna not get this right, but it's What is Love? And she's just amazing. I remember reading the book and I was like, I'm floored. Really great poet, amazing woman, and she's launching some new visuals and her first single really, really soon. So I'm really excited
As
to
a
see.
singer?
As a singer, I can't wait to see what she has
Wow.
for us next.
Do you have any of the other groups you know, offshoots of this group or that you want to advertise, get people to?
Well, I know Carlene has Carlene McNair, public figure. I know she has her own, her
Phenomenally
author.
Chosen.
Yeah, Phenomenally Chosen. She most of her writing is faith based. So she's really into her religion and her path in God, and like. I'm sure if you follow her, we have links to it in our webpage as well on Facebook, to everyone's individual stuff too.
We're going to have to do one of these at the church. I'll set it up. Beautiful hall. Wouldn't that be cool?
That'd be great.
We'll get some more people, maybe. I don't know. Fill
I'm
up
in.
that place.
We're in.
So
Nothing like that in this town. Okay.
But without further ado.
here's Chosen.
I declare today that whoever hears my voice will no longer feel victim to what is unseen, no longer held captive by what seems so simple but is really complex but free, mentally and spiritually. Now, I don't stand up here for sympathy, but I do stand here to reach a generation suffering from suicide, depression, and STDs. From the ones who question God, hoping to die, not knowing that he sent his son on earth so that we may have life. And I know how it feels to feel forgotten, alone, and depressed. I would listen to the voice playing out in my head, and they described me without God's love, his grace, and his mercy. But that best friend quickly turned into an enemy. Looking back, there was something that I missed. You see, death seems so much scarier than a slit wrist. Let this mind be in you that is also in Christ Jesus, our mind. It has the power to build or destroy. Let this mind be in you, the mind that you will listen to, a voice of one. When will you see that you cannot march to the beat of your own drum? Be not conformed, but transformed through the renewing of your mind. Shooting a gun does not make you win. It does not give you power, but it strips you of your dignity. It's the key that locks those cuffs around your wrist and promises you death if not a sentence. And drugs won't kill the pain. I know sometimes the color may stand for purity, but it cannot wash your sins white as snow. Only the blood of Christ can do that, my friend. And I can smell alcohol seeping through your pores, and that cannot dismiss the fact that we are filthy rags without him, stuck in our very own way of thinking. And for you, that has intercourse with everyone you meet, that leaves you vulnerable and exposed to things not seen by the naked eye, but by constant testing. And I know YOLO means you only live once, so go out and live. But what if that one person made you positive? Are you sure you want to deposit and live your life in the eye of lustful desire? And for you, that's contemplating a way to disappear, to finally be embraced by death, to feel its grip around your lost soul. For you, that's marked by every way you try to end your life, that's marked by the signature of suicide. Don't do it. Be still and let the Lord fight your battles. You may feel like it doesn't matter, but in this case, it's mind over matter. It's your mind over every trigger pulled, every way that you drink, and every way you decide to try to get high. It's your mind over every place that you lie. It's your mind over every way that you contemplate to die. Be still and let the Lord fight your battles. Why don't you try allowing him to take the seat, the pilot's seat, and fly you to eternity? Thank you.
Great job. Woo. All right. Well, I was saying that's in the 50s, the beatniks. It was a lot of poetry back then.
Yeah.
So you're reviving that.
Well, yeah, the spoken word aspect of it is fairly new, but like this is something that's been going on for generations, and
Yeah.
like people, the best poets, you know, have been writing stuff. Like our philosophers, they see the world through a different lens, and I definitely think the next person coming up is one of those people as well. Lucci, I definitely.
Lucci is amazing. He's definitely one of my best friends. Just really overall good guy. What I love about him the most is that his name, Lucci, is an acronym for listening, understanding, caring, considering, and inquiring, which is beautiful. I don't know what poem he's gonna do today. Hopefully it is that one, because it definitely spotlights who he is and tells his story and how he views the world, which is a beautiful way. Very forgiving person, very unbiased. As soon as we asked him to be a part of this, he was like, I'm in. And he's definitely instrumental to our group. He's definitely a comedian like Curtis is.
Ooh.
They all go back and forth. All three of them go
Yeah.
back and forth.
I don't know what
Fun
you're talking
group.
about.
You do know what we're talking about. Their memes and their jokes back and forth are just really refreshing. And he's definitely just amazing man.
Okay.
Without further ado, here's Lucci.
Hands. It's easier to hurt someone than to help them. The only difference is effort. The world is very good at throwing up hands. Hand signs to the deaf, fist fighting for the mad, gang signs for the crew, face slaps for the abuse. Many of us use our hands for love. Our biggest talent, by show of hands, is harming the abused.
directly with words and hits, indirectly turning blind eyes. Some of us think we care. We do, when it's us, a family, a friend. Is that enough? Is it enough and fair to care when we wish to bear a burden beyond comfort? Society's priorities keep it moving. No time for love, no profit for love. Hate keeps us separate, keeps us fighting for the almighty dollar by swipe or by pipe. Pipe dreams down the tubes with no end in sight. Cravings for substance addictive like fast food. Food that kills you slower, simulating fake health. Guess which one is legal? At least the real deal doesn't lie about its needs. Needs versus wants is our everyday question. I can't get what I need. At least I got what I want. If you can't get what you want, at least you have what you need. Air to breathe, blood to pump. That's where it starts. Food and water sometimes lost, shelter and family sometimes lost. Someone just to listen to you, to hear you, to hug you, to help you. To throw up our hands out of love and respect for the life you represent. We all make mistakes. The biggest mistake is delusion of our separation. Our stories may be different, but we both impact the other. Our humanity is collective. Protection from harm is a two-way street with us first. Just because we forgive ourselves or others doesn't mean we forgive ourselves or others. Lowering conditions, growing compassion. I cherish your air. It's mine too. It's easier to hurt someone than to help someone. The only difference is effort. If no one has told you, I value your life. I don't judge you. I love you.
Sew it back on. I keep forgetting. Janie, I want to ask how we're doing for time.
Just go with it.
Really?
Just go with it.
Okay,
We're at 24 minutes.
okay. All right.
Yeah, so as you can, real quick before we get to the next poet, right? My girlfriend Jackie that's been on
Yeah.
here, she just celebrated 3 years of sobriety. So I just wanted to,
That's what I
congrats,
heard.
babe.
It's awesome.
The next poet, Ashley Wonder. I always like to say it with an S, but it's Ashley Wonder. Besides Amanda, who like gave me a place to open my voice and to find it, like Ashley's been one of the most influential people in helping me develop myself as an artist. She lives in Worcester, where I live in Worcester, and like we get up and we'll talk. And I know she does workshops, and like she's always trying to guide me into the next level. She's won slams, poetry slams. So poetry slams are basically a bunch of poets go into a place, and basically it's almost like a battle, but it's not. They perform and they get graded like the Olympics, and they go on to the next level, and if they win, then they go on to they assemble a team, and then that team goes on to nationals, and Am I describing it correct?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty accurate. They only have a certain amount of time. There's a lot of rules. It's a little different in slam poetry because you only have a certain amount of time. And if you go over that period of time, you can get penalized, and that takes away from your actual points. It's pretty challenging. It's very fast paced, and you have to hit
yeah.
every single time. It's like hit with every single poem just to make it to the top. It is the most challenging thing I have seen. Actually, Ashley Wonder is not the only person on our team that actually does slam poetry. Scoot does as well, and I've seen both of them in action, and it's just amazing. I give them total credit for doing that. I also love the fact that Ashley is just a down-to-earth person. She's not only just a spoken word artist, but she also plays the saxophone as well. She also knows how to sign, do sign language as well, which is super impressive. She has a poem that she incorporates sign and spoken word, and it's just amazing. Always just a beautiful spirit to be around, and right now she's working with UMass Hospital to get young teens and young women and start empowering them and doing youth groups for them as well, which is super important and prevalent to our community right now. So without further ado.
Now, does she go on the road for doing this stuff?
Yeah.
Or-
So me and her actually went to New York. We did the Bowery Poetry Club, which is like, that's like the 2-3 biggest poetry clubs in like the United States. We also then afterwards went to New Yorican, which is like a historical spot for poetry. It's like the Mecca. Everybody wants to go to New Yorican, and we actually did an open mic there, which was one of the most awesome things. She has I think this Friday she's going to a slam in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, and she's gonna, I know she's gonna kill it over there as well. She's actually gonna perform one of my favorite poems she told me earlier. I don't know if she changed her mind, but it's the Ashley Wonder poem, and then she's basically saying, I'm here in this poem. So without further ado, here's Ashley Wonder.
For much of my existence, death, I believed, was my answer to life. Didn't think I was ever worthy of a man's love when heart and feelings was always taken advantage of. Was raised with self-love, but self-hate shattered the positivity I knew. So slicing my unspoken frustrations became bled-out responses to rejection. Never had those typical boyfriends of regret. Observed everyone else in the ups and downs of relationships. Dissatisfaction for not doing enough to be considered making it. So to end my life seemed plausible, something nobody ever conceived when you're born, a miracle. Miraculous wonder since the day of my birth. Miracle baby's what they called me. I counted it as value. I seen it as worth. 1 pound, 3.5 ounces with less than a 10% chance of survival. October 8th, 1983. And no, there was no high technology, but the grace of God kept me. Kept me living 119 days in that incubator. Left with my nose a little disfigured because of a tube, but whatever the doctors gave me, I made it through. I made it through my first surgical procedure at 5. Growing up, kids were nothing but cruel. Low self-esteem came early, was confused by racial identity, made it difficult for me to relate to. Spent too many days crying, spent too many years cutting, spent too many times wondering what it would be like if I swallowed that bottle of pills. So I did. But somehow, by the grace of God, I made it through 3 more surgical procedures on my nose with the scars to prove that I am a walking miracle. To show others how suicidal thinking and depression does not have to claim your life. I found my life when I found my identity in Christ, the blood that was shed for the disobedience of my sin, body broken and whipped, a loving sacrifice for me to see this old way of living and thinking is dead, never to rise up again because I surrendered everything to Him. This beautiful relationship, it took away all my old insecurities that I used to look for in those men and anyone or anything if they would just listen to me. But no more. I know who I am now. I am a miraculous woman, a survivor. So now you all know why they call me Ashley Wonder.
This thing is so powerful. Oh my God. Congratulations to all you guys, man. All right.
So the next person that we have on is Scoot. Scoot blew my mind the first time I saw him, man. Like every time after, like, so he's a freestyle spoken word poet. So everything that he says is, he thinks about it on the spot. So as we came here, he's like, we were outside. He's like, Kenny, what do I talk about? And he's like, my mind's going 100 miles an hour. And I was like, you know, this is what the show is about. Like, if I give him a couple of guidelines and like everything, this poem is unique. It's, the world will never see it again. It's his one-time deal. And like every time he speaks, like I just shut up and listen, and I'm hanging on every word he's saying. I like to call him our cleanup hitter. I always put him last because he's our cleanup man. Bases are loaded. He's ready to knock it out the park. You have anything?
I love Scoot. I love all of them, actually. I love all of you. But I love Scoot for exactly the reason why he said he's, you know, a freestyler. And what I love about that is that it's so difficult to just be in a space and be in a crowd of people and not have anything prepared. So I admire that about him. He's competed in several slams, has won several slams. He's actually a semi-finalist right now at the Lizard Lounge in Cambridge for slam poetry. He asked me to call him the slam, what was it? Slam King Contender?
Wow.
But that's the name. Okay, so that's the name of what he's doing, but it's just kind of funny because it's like a double entendre for what I think he represents.
King.
He's a slam king contender.
All right. I'm cool with that.
He's just amazing. Scoot and I actually connected at Roxbury Community College. He was the president of the poetry club that was there at the time. That's actually where Hope Inc. derived from. We were based in Roxbury Community College since 2006. We turned that from Club Hope, which was basically just a way for us to have free parties at the school. And we would have an open mic there that ended up turning into the nonprofit that it is today, Hope Inc. And Scoot, when we went on campus, it was myself and one of the other members of Hope Inc. And we were attending an event, and he did this poem, and we were like, who is this guy? Like, wow. He was amazing. It's been genuine and authentic ever since. The connection is real. If it wasn't for him being on the campus, there would be no poetry scene whatsoever. He definitely continued the legacy that is there still today, and he's just an amazing person. So without further ado, Scoot.
The death of me. It's just another reason for me to take my life in vain while using a knife to vein myself. I don't know if I'm supposed to be here tomorrow or if the heavens should call me. I feel as if there's no reason for me to reach the optimum level of my voice because I use my throat and not the base of my stomach. My heart will always pump for reasons that I can't understand. The tears will always give me reason to never feel as though I'm actually supposed to balance myself on this beam I call life. Why is life giving me nothing but pain? I guess it's because pain is just another situation I have to walk on to make myself feel like the knife doesn't have to cut so deep. I guess even words just make words not feel the same the way they should. I guess it's one reason for me to keep this in a slow motion, or maybe it's another way for me to pause myself. I guess it's just the lights that beam down on everything that I've ever done. I'm sorry for everything that I've ever caused people because I know that my happiness can become your situation, and it's not fair that I watch my tears go from foresight to down cheeks just to make myself feel better. The dreams will always make me arise to an occasion that makes me not understand what I'm supposed to be. Watch how I do not understand myself. I still fumble around sometimes. Maybe it's because I don't know if the river should flow in my direction. I maybe should just drop at the bottom of the river, make myself feel like this will never be real again. I should never be real in the first place. My physical pain is just another way for me to keep myself down in vain. But then one day God told me that demigods live amongst earths and they will always decide what their roots are. So once you grow yourself into that remarkable tree, you would see that everything that you've ever done was meant for you to be here. Do not clip your voice. It's one of the greatest things that I've ever given you. Please remember who you are. I am not here to take away your life. You will not die, even if you swallowed the pills in the first place. No matter how many times you cut yourself, it would just be another vein I fix so that people can understand your story. Watch how they reread your book, because the books that keep going through your mind is just another way for you to worm through life. And instead of you feeling like you must die, remember this: everything that you've ever done in your situation will always make you alive.
Now Amanda, right?
Yeah.
So, back. Amanda got up and went over there. She's getting ready to, well, just talk about her.
Amanda, so I actually started talking to Amanda when I was still active. We were friends on social media, and she would always post about this open mic, and I would always like, oh, when is it? And I must have asked her like a million times, and she was probably annoyed with me by the last time I asked her. And when I got clean, it was something that like always popped up, and I was like, I gotta make it to this, I gotta make it to this, and like I finally made it. Amanda wears many hats. She's an artist manager. She's an artist. She's a model. She is a part of Hope Inc., as you've heard her talk about. She also does creative design, people's social medias as well. Like, I've never seen a person do so much, balance so much, and still continuously, you know, support so many other artists, because like that's one of her main things. Like, she's always promoting other people's events, and like she's what I always think about her when I think about her is that there's enough sun for everyone to shine, and like she's definitely like she shows that by helping others, she grows her brand, but she also promotes other people that may have not have gotten that opportunity. So she's an absolutely amazing person, an amazing poet. I'll share this one story before. So Amanda talked about her ex-husband. Her ex-husband went and he got clean. He was using, and she's like, after I did You Don't Look Like an Addict, she's like, hey, my ex-husband's struggling, would you mind if I gave him your number? And I was like, yeah, no problem. So he called me, like, it was like 2 months, like, I didn't hear anything, and he finally called me. And I always thought that, like, he was gonna think, like, I was gonna preach, like, hey, you gotta do a 12-step fellowship, you gotta do this. And I didn't do that. I just sat on the phone and listened. Everything he said, like, I could finish, because I've been there. And, like, you know, we talked for like a couple of months, and finally he's like, how did you get clean? I was like, you know, I went to a detox, went to a program, got a sponsor, did meetings, you know, and continued to do that. And he's like, I think I'll try it. I was like, when that try turns to a need, you'll be ready. So he went ahead and called me the next day, and he's like, I'm gonna quit my job, I'm ready. And I'm like, okay. So let's start dialing for dollars. So we start calling all these places. We get him into a detox. And I don't hear from the kid for like a long time. So he calls me and he's like, Kenny, I just called to thank you. I'm like, thank me for what? He's like, I got 90 days clean. And I was screaming like I had just won the lottery. I was so happy. I was like, don't thank me. Like, you're gonna do this for someone else in the future. I'm like, where are you right now? He's like, at a halfway house. I'm like, which halfway house? He's like, one in Malden. I'm like, I have a family member that's at that house. He's like, what's your family member's name? I told him. He's like, that's my roommate. He actually spent Thanksgiving at my mother's house. Wow. And like every time I say that story, I get chills, because it's like, you don't know why people are placed in your path, and like, you know, who you're gonna help and who they're gonna help. Because, you know, I just went to an open mic. And there I met Amanda. Here we have Compassionate Poets. Here there's a person getting clean, helping out one of my family members stay clean. You know, it's a revolving, the universe is a revolving door that keeps going. But back to Amanda, she's just one of the most genuine people I know. And without further ado, here's Amanda.
Matt Gannum, this is for you. Thank you for inspiring me and talking about all of your struggles. This is for you. She's not breathing. Yo, I need help. At the top of my lungs screaming. I could have sworn she was just sleeping. Laying on the ground, her heart's not beating, arms still bleeding from where she stuck the needle in. Her skin's turning gray. Her lips are blue. What are we supposed to do? She's gonna die, dude. Call 911, don't even argue. Pounding on her chest, you gotta pull through, mouth to mouth, but it's not working. The situation worsens with a heart that's hurting, trying to save another person, begging for her to breathe. Screaming from the bottom of my lungs, please don't leave. I really hate this disease. Pressing compressions on her chest cavity, heartbroken over what the results may be, suffering in a state of shock, trying to save a life that's lost from a deadly shot. Blue lights outside from the arrival of cops, but the rescue breathing can't stop. Sternum rub didn't wake her up, her skin was cold to the touch. Police officer burst through the door in a rush, Narcan in his clutch, hoping he's not too late. A couple of extra doses just in case. Unclear of how much it's going to take. Put it in her nostril and sprayed in the first try, and she didn't wake. Sweat dripping down the cop's face. Struggling to put together another one while he shakes, hoping it works on the second try. She lies there on the floor with lifeless eyes. In the corner, her druggy buddy is praying she doesn't die. He sprayed the Narcan again, and to everyone's surprise, she suddenly came alive, lucky enough to have survived. Thank you.
Okay, last, Kenny was on the show before, and he did two poems, and he just blew me away. He's in recovery. I think he's close to 3 years, and I also have to say, I didn't know how this was going to work. It's completely different, you know, with not all recovery, some recovery, but just spilling their guts, and everybody is so profound. So I know we're running long, but they said keep rolling. Kenny's going to do 3. That's what I wanted, and these are just. It has to do with addiction. Kenny is in recovery, not just clean and sober, in recovery to get better. So that's it, Kenny.
Welcome to the mind of an addict. A mind that's habitually conforming to its bad habits. A mind that's moving so rapid it doesn't know which way it's reacting. All it's wreaking is havoc, turning its own into something so tragic. You see, the voices started sporadic, but they get louder and louder, growing stronger and stronger. It's getting harder and harder to fight this beast off and not feed to its hunger. Why does my mind wander? To this dark place that'll take us both under. I was fine just 5 minutes ago, and now I find myself fighting this monster, and I don't have a sponsor. And as I lay there, feeling defeated and conquered, I can't help but ponder, is this what I want for? Myself, my family and friends, and all of my loved ones? Am I a lost cause, or am I the person my mother and father constantly long for? So I make a choice to go to a detox. An intern, they sent me to Casa Esperanza, and there I get dropped off. To walk into intake to find out that cell phone's forbidden. How for the next 30 days I better get comfortable, I'll be on restriction. How refusing the urine leads to immediate discharge, no reasons more given. I'm stuck here. I put myself into a volunteer prison. How I hope I just fit in. But then the first day goes by and it turns into two turns to four. Next thing you know, you start sharing in groups. People graduate or get discharged, and all of a sudden, you're no longer new. Till one day you realize that the doors have no guards or locks. The only thing that stops you from leaving is to choose. Because I'm who I'm accountable to. Because no matter that the staff has my back and try to give me the knowledge I lack and try to show me how to react, how this can turn into that or tit can turn into tat, when it's all said and done, I'm the only one that can make the choice not to relapse. And I haven't, in fact. I've even started to remember what a great feeling joy is. I'm no longer a captain. I'm no longer a prisoner. I'm learning to captain my everyday voyage, with my life still full of promise and the ability to make clear-headed choices. At least for today, I've said no to the voices. That was my first poem that I wrote about addiction. I wrote that in a halfway house in Boston. I wish I could tell you that I got it there, but I didn't. So then I ended up going to Worcester, and that's where I got the inspiration for my next poem, which is called Pain Street, USA. It is early dawn, and as the sun is about halfway up its climb to its highest point, I get into my 98 black Oldsmobile and head to the gym in excitement for the morning's workout. I pass downtown, full of so much life, so early in the morning. In downtown, the parks are so scenic. They fill your vision with peace and serenity, like watching wildlife in a forest. The morning dew sets on the grass, leaving it to glisten like if it was ice in a rink. Street art colors the sides of buildings, making each one unique, like tattoos on human skin. And every day, I hit the same red light at the same intersection. This intersection is like the borders of two countries, one rich and the other reminiscent of a developing country. This intersection leads to Pain Street. And as the light turns green, the air gets heavier, and I find it harder to breathe. The pain is so harsh that even in the quiet mornings, you can still hear silent screams. The boulevard of broken dreams has nothing on Pain Street. I get to the first corner only to find a group of shattered souls wandering around like if they were looking for the body they had long lost long ago. On the next corner, there's someone dancing this joyless dance that looks like a robot when its battery dies, and it leans over but dares not fall because falling means death, so the pain dangles in mid-air. The car in front of me, a white Nissan Maxima that can't be more than a year old, has its doors and windows locked. The mother driving is praying for the pain not to ask her for change. But what she doesn't comprehend is that even though there's a church on every corner, there's also a liquor store, and more prayers are happening in the liquor store than the church itself. I drive up a little more, and on my left-hand side is a McDonald's, but no Happy Meals are sold here. The pain sell not so happy endings with fries and a drink, selling pieces of themselves in every car they get into to get the money to pay the rent to live on Pain Street. As I pass this area, I am reminded that I lived on Pain Street for 13 years. I walk Pain Street like zombies in The Walking Dead. Pain embedded so deep in my soul that my soul would itch and no sharp edge could scratch it. I empathize with the pain because I am one of them, and I am drained. Physically and emotionally drained. Pain Street sucks my energy like a vacuum because it knows me, calls me, and begs me to move back in. As I come to the last light on Pain Street, I see this beautiful house standing majestic like a medieval castle, protecting its residents from outside invaders. The house stands guard from pain souls trying to find their way out of the darkness and into the light. The light they so desperately seek, but it is so easy to go back to because it is literally at their front door. The residents of this house stand in the parking lot with a glow on their face because the pain has been minimized for that moment. Smiles and laughter drown out the silent screams as they regaling stories on how they survived Pain Street. As I come off Pain Street, I am reminded that that house saved my life. And that house's motto, Jeremiah, is 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. The air gets lighter. I exhale. And I can finally breathe again. Another day I've made it off Payne Street. And here's my last poem, You Don't Look Like an Addict. They say the funniest people are the saddest clowns. And maybe that's why I am the way that I am. Hiding behind a cliche Freudian mask to hide you from all the ugliness that lies beneath it. Sort of like Michael Myers, but instead of wanting to kill my family, only wanting to kill myself. I've hid behind the mask for so long that my beard grows through it. At times I fool myself and start to believe it's the real me. And then, inevitably, somebody says that statement that fills me with a rage that makes me want to introduce them to the nearest wall. You don't look like an addict, which begs the question, what does an addict look like? Because if you're picturing me with a belt tied around my arm and a loaded syringe about to inject my vein like a snake injects its prey with venom, then I've never fit your definition of an addict. But tell that to my mother. My mother that took me to every detox and would cry hysterically as I walked away because she didn't know if I would get it or if I would die. Tell that to my father that watched me scratch myself with knives because I was crawling out of my skin and would do anything to shed myself of it. Tell that to my siblings that watch someone they hate try to kill someone they love. Now imagine that I am both those people. Tell that to my nieces and nephew that watch me at every family function nodding off. The oldest one protecting the younger ones by saying Uncle Kenny's just tired, let him sleep. Her innocence stolen from her eyes because she knows that there's something more, but is too young to put two and two together. Tell that to my friends, not the people I got high with, my actual friends, that I burned and manipulated so many times that the mere mention of my name sucks the energy out of a room like a black hole, leaving them to wonder just how many times a month does a person pay a cell phone bill. Tell that to me. Seriously, tell me that I don't look like an addict, that waking up every morning throwing up this brown bile that feels like acid as it climbs up your throat, that the only relief is the side of a pissy toilet. The bathroom floor feels like heaven compared to the hell that my body's going through. So excuse me if I don't accept your backhanded compliment. It's easy to see a diamond in a jewelry store and not realize that it was mined in a cave. What you see is hope. What I've hoped for since April 11th of 2015. That's 2 years, 10 months, 17 days, 11 hours, 30 minutes, and 17 seconds. How there are days I still wake up after having dreams so vivid that I can still taste the drip of OxyContin in the back of my tongue. And as the sun rays creep through the blinds and reach me, hope embraces me in its arms again like a mother embraces this child that just had a nightmare and tells me it's okay. It was just a dream. The drugs can't hurt you no more. You don't look like an addict. You're wrong. I am one of the tens of millions of faces of the heroin/opiate epidemic. Thank you.
This program is brought to you by Amico Flooring of Fitchburg, Mass. Amico Flooring. Let us floor you.